So we're going to go through my mentor Karen London's technique of teaching the dog to watch. So first of all, I want to put the dog in a sit, and I would kind of have her kind of between your feet.
Okay.
Ask her to tell her where you want her to come. There you go.
Sit.
All right. So basically what we're doing is we have a handful of treats in one hand, and I would put both hands, one on either side of your, there you go.
Okay. Sit.
Okay, we can do it kind of from wherever.
Okay.
Maybe just put it on top of your thigh. There you go.
Watch.
And back on your thighs. There you go.
Watch. Watch.
So every time we're waiting for the dog to initiate it on its own. We're not giving any cues. But as soon as the dog gives us eye contact, then we immediately give it the treat. Now make sure she's in a sit.
Shadow. Sit. Shadow. Sit. Watch.
Now I'm going to have you, next time you do it, I want you to hold it up so that she's looking towards your face, and then you're going to take about a 1 second pause. It's going to take a 1 second duration as you go towards her head.
Hey, sit. Watch.
Perfect.
Watch.
Excellent. So basically, this is the technique that we're going to use inside. Now, let me explain kind of the rest of what we're doing. So at first, we're going to do it just like this, where at first it was as soon as she gives you eye contact, you give her the treat, and we say watch the same second the treat touches her lips. After we've done that enough, then what we want to do is we want to extend her gaze. That's why I had you raising it. I would hold it a little bit closer to your face than you were.
Okay.
And then you're going to kind of hold it up to your face like here. And then you're going to go on a direct line towards the dog's head.
Okay.
And then say watch the second it goes into her mouth.
Okay.
So we want to practice that inside enough to where she's extending her gaze towards you. And anytime you say watch, at first you're going to do it for the first couple days. You're just going to wait for her to give you her eyes. And once you get to the point where she just starts looking at you most of the time, then you've kind of achieved it. Then what you want to do is you kind of wander around the house, have a treat in your pocket, and pull it out in your hand when she's not prepared and not looking, and then just say watch. As soon as she looks up at you, give her the treat. Then you start saying watch, and when she looks up at you, you hold it up in front of your face again and go slowly towards her. Okay. So you're extending her gaze. So now we've established watch means look at me. Now, it's easiest to do it inside because there's no distractions here.
Right.
The next step is to do it outside without the presence of any other dogs. So you're out in a walk, you're just walking her, you're taking a couple steps and just stop, watch. And she just looks her head up, boom, you put it in her mouth. Now and so you want to practice that until she's very consistent and reliable with that. And again, without any other dogs. Then I would try to do it when you have a little bit level of stimulation, maybe on a Saturday when there's kids in the neighborhood running around playing, they can hear stuff. She's kind of looking at other things. If you see a squirrel at a distance, that's a good opportunity to practice as well. We want to gradually increase the level of intensity until she can do it with amongst distractions. Okay. Now, once you got to that point, then you want to go to a place where you're going to have dogs kind of on a regular basis. Now, you have a path out behind your house. I'm guessing a lot of dogs probably walk on that path. Mm-hmm. Find yourself a little clearing on that path. Maybe take a tailgate chair and go sit down and have a pocket full of these treats. Make sure your vantage point, you can see the people coming from a good distance. So as soon as, or you can just do it while you're walking, but I think it'd be better if you're off the trail so you kind of have some distance. Mm-hmm. As soon as you see another dog, look down at your dog and watch her. As soon as you see her, she's going to lower her head, lock in on that dog, immediately give her the watch command. Again, we want to do it right away. The more she stares and the closer the dog gets, the more intense. Right. As soon as she looks at you, you do the thing and give her the command. At first, give her the treat right away. Then we're going to start extending it the same way we described earlier. Now, after you've been doing this for a while, eventually you're going to come across and see a dog where she's going to see the dog and she's not going to even need to hear the command. She's going to look up at you. Karen calls this the auto watch. As soon as the dog gives you an auto watch, you want to pay that off big time. So then we give the dog what we call a jackpot. I would give her about 5 to 10 treats in a row. And you say watch the second it goes into her mouth each time. Okay. And so we want her to say, whoa, holy cow, what did I just do? Because I just got the mother load of treats. I want to be able to recreate this. Now, after you start doing this a while, the dog will start to associate. If I see another dog and I look up at the human, I get this jackpot of treats. Right. The other dog is so far away, I don't consider it to be a threat. So I'm glad to look up. Now, as you're doing this, you'll be able to get gradually closer and closer to dogs, and you'll be able to get her distracted. And because dogs can only think of one thing at a time, now she is willingly turning her head away. She's not looking at the other dog. Now, if you have a dog that's charging you or showing aggression or just territoriality, your dog sits and turns and looks away. That's actually called a calming signal. It's in a more subordinate position. It's not facing or staring at the other dog, so the other dog doesn't perceive it as a challenge. So that will mellow out a lot of other dogs.
Okay.
If the other dog's not reacting, she's going to be less reactive.
Right.
And eventually you can get the dog closer and closer and closer. Now, when you get to the point where you're pretty close to the dogs, then you can kind of go through that technique that I went through earlier, the counter conditioning, where we're holding the treat and letting the dog look at another dog as, and use that.
Okay.
So that's basically Karen London's book, The Feisty Fido. So if you have a dog that is leash reactive, I would highly recommend you get the book. It is a very quick read. It's very well written and easy to read. But this is kind of a highlight of some of the techniques that are in that book.